Welcome, everyone. Let us bring our meeting to order by a word of prayer. Almighty God, in your wisdom and goodness, have appointed the officers of leaders and the county assemblies for the welfare of the society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important tasks in the county. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and a faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace and prosperity and welfare of our county and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, apology if any. Nyasuna, Honorable Nyasuna, Honorable Mickey. The rest, I think, are on the way coming. We are doing Auditor General's report on Kisumu County alcoholic drink financial year 2021, 2020, 2022. Then we have 2022, 2023. Could you please adopt our agenda, members? Proposed by Honorable Nditi, seconded by Honorable Rakwach. Thank you. I think we are doing introduction on Ken Uko, member of County Assembly West Kisumu Ward, Chair Picpac County Assembly of Kisumu. Thank you.
Honorable Tom Nditi, MC Ombay Ward, Vice Chair, Picpac Committee.
Honorable Ruben Rakwach, Kulwa East Ward, and a member of the committee.
Secretariat.
Austin Yamoya, Committee Clerk.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Chris Oguta, Clerk Assistant to the committee.
Weekly Forward, member of the Secretariat.
Thank you. Office of the Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Chuta Kipkoech from the Office of the Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Abraham Musuto, Auditor from the Office of the Auditor General.
Thank you. To the accounting officers.
Good morning and Happy New Year. My name is Timothy Nyakwamba Kajwang, the Chief Officer for the Department of Trade, Tourism, Cooperatives, Industry and Marketing, where liquor is also housed. Chair, allow me to express the apologies of my CC. Although she was not directly invited to this, she knows we are here and she would have loved to be here, but she's committed on other official duties. Thank you.
Pena.
It's working now. My name is Peter Collins Okoth, the Director in charge of liquor licensing, betting and gaming control, and also doubling up as the fund administrator of the alcoholic fund. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Maurice Matunga, Deputy Director, Alcoholic Drinks Control.
Come clear. Could you please repeat your introduction?
Thank you, Chair. My name is Maurice Matunga, Deputy Director, Alcoholic Drinks Control.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So the chief is now as the backup team. So we want the accounting officer to sit where the chief is so that the chief be an backup team. If you will sit with him. Thank you. Sajada Tam, where is Kapesa? Okay. We want to administer the oath to the accounting officer.
I, Peter Collins Okoth, do solemnly and sincerely swear that every word that I shall utter before this committee is the truth and nothing but the truth, and that every statement and declaration that I shall make shall be made conscientiously, believing the same to be true and according to the Oaths and Statutory Declarations Act. So help me God.
Thank you. May I confirm from the office of the clerk whether they got responses from the accounting officers, fund administrator, or in time?
Chairman, I confirm that we got the responses from the fund administration in time. Thank you.
May I confirm from the office of the Auditor General whether they got responses from the fund administrator in time for the year 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023 financial years?
Chair, I confirm we received the written responses for the 3 financial years, but we did not receive the underlying supporting documents. So we were not able now to verify the responses against the supporting documents. Thank you.
Thank you. What was the auditor's opinion for 2021, 2020, 2021, and what informed the decision? Thank you.
Chair, the auditor's opinion for the 3 financial years was disclaimer opinion. Disclaimer means the financial statements was materially misstated, which means most of the figures in the financial statement was not supported by supporting documents and schedules. Thank you.
Did you follow the legal procedures, all the legal procedures, first meeting, exit meeting, and such kind of?
Chair, we follow all the legal procedures. We have an entry meeting and exit meeting. Thank
you. Which is confirmed to be, it was attended by the fund administrator?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Now we want to give a guidance. We realize most of this audit queries, the questions flagged by the Auditor General, some are from 2020, 2021, they are repeating themselves in 2022 2022. Report 2. Now, we have just selected some questions in 2021. Then most of the questions are going to be dealt with in 2021-2022 audit report. So, on financial matters, we are going to deal with number 6 and 11. Number 6 and number 11. That is for 2020-2021. For number 6, we have unsupported expenditure on general expenses. That is number 6. Number 11 is excess fund administration expenses. Just as I've said, most of the issues here, they also appear in 2021-2022. So we are going to deal with them in 2021-2022. I think we are giving the opportunity to the auditor for number 6, unsupported expenditure on general expenses. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to read issue number 6 on unsupported expenditure on general expenses. The statement of financial position reflects an amount of Kenyan shillings 11,146,359,000 in respect to general expenses and as disclosed in note 2 to the financial statements. However, the ledgers and the schedules were not provided for audit verification. In addition, fuel and oil costs expenses of 300,000 was not supported by payment for just fuel register and the motor vehicle work tickets, while the nature of the other expenses amounting to 7,855,359,000, which accounts for 70% of the general expenses, were not disclosed. In the circumstances, the accuracy and the completeness of the general expenses amount of 11,146,359 shillings could not be confirmed. Thank you.
Back to the accounting officers, the fund administrator.
Thank you, Chair. On note number 6, we did respond as per what was stated, what was flagged down by the Office of the Auditor General, and we did give supporting documents together with the auditor as we were being guided on how we were to respond on the matters which were flagged down.
You did not respond?
We did, sir.
You did respond?
Yeah, we did respond and gave what we were required was to submit the evidence.
But if you responded, where read from your responses.
Chair, the response I had of my copy I've given the auditors because they were saying they didn't have a signed copy.
Do you have a written response? Do you have a copy of the written response so far?
Yes, we are required to submit.
No. Stick to what you are asked. Stick to what you are asked. Do you have a copy of the written response, copy to the assembly and copy to the office of the auditor?
My copies are with the assembly, sir.
You don't have your copy?
I've just given it to the auditor. They wanted a signed one, so they took mine, which I had with me in the assembly here.
Come.
I'm saying I did have my copy, but when the auditors reached here, they said the copy that they had, there was a draft, was not signed. So they have taken mine, which was signed. So as I sit here, I wanted a copy maybe from the assembly, but the same thing.
Okay, members.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, if I'm not wrong, then I think the accounting officer is saying that he came with a copy, with this copy, then he gave it to the Auditor General. because the Auditor General did not have a signed copy. And now my concern, I think he got an invite from the assembly. And the invite instructed him to do copies, a number of copies to the assembly and a copy to the office of Auditor General. So my question, did he do a copy to the office of Auditor General? And if he did, was that copy signed? I think we can start from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Administrator, you have to do it to the chair. I give you the opportunity to respond. You don't just rise then start responding. We have order. Maybe it is not coming clear. It means you submitted some reports to the auditor which were not signed. That is what is coming out, and you decided to sign someone behind the door. Is that what is coming out from the meeting?
Chair, I did submit signed copies to the Office of the Auditor General.
Okay.
And brought the copies as well.
Okay.
We were
Fine.
guided to the assembly. And I was also requested to do soft copy.
Okay. I
The
understand.
Auditor General.
Just resume your seat.
Thank you,
We
sir.
are giving you one. I understood. Okay. Could you now go through that question so that you answer the right question from your responses? You can first confirm if it is the true copy of your responses, because it might
Yes,
miss.
Chair, this is the true copy of my response.
Okay, thank you.
So it's note number 6, unsupported expenditure on general expenses. And this one was on the ledgers and the schedule, plus the fuel register. The same was submitted, and the auditors went through, and we were told to submit to the assembly. That is what we were guided, sir.
Kindly please stick to your responses. Don't add even a word. You stick to your responses. We'll give you opportunity to expound. We will not just say we are not here for lynching. We will give you opportunity to defend your answers. We will give you, don't worry. So the first thing, when the auditor reads their flagged issues, you respond according to how you responded, then you resume your seat. We will give back to the auditor now, they will respond, then we give you again. We'll give you a fair hearing, don't worry. So back to the auditors.
Thank you, Chair. We did not receive the supporting documents to support the general expenses. We only received the written responses, but without attachments to support the responses. Thank you, Chair.
Admin, it seems somebody is misleading the House. Would you please now respond to that? The supportive documents.
Thank you, Chair. According to the unsupported expenditure, we did provide the ledgers and the schedules, and we updated accordingly, because some of these things were going and touching on our financial statement. So we had to adjust those 3 documents, that is the financial statement, ledgers, schedules, and the one which was added, the fuel register, we had to submit the file of the firm which was awarded the fuel register, plus the work ticket, detail order, and that one we did. Thank you.
But they are talking of not receiving such kind of supportive documents, and they are just here. Who is misleading the House? Maybe we can give back to the auditor so that in respect to your responses?
Yeah, I think we can go because what is here that I'm seeing, we did not annex this response. If I would have annexed it, then I should have been able to cite from the evidence that I submitted that it was. But since it was touching on three different, that is the ledgers, schedule, and the fuel register. Now there were three parameters of response that we was expected. So maybe if I could check on the evidence that I submitted to the Assembly Chair. Thank you.
You have submitted some documents here? But you know the auditing entity. See, the documents were required by the auditor. And you know you had the entry meeting with auditors. And you also had the exit meeting with auditors. So that was the opportunity for you to provide all those required documents. And if it is not annexed, how do you expect the auditors to know where they are? Because, you know, when you are responding as an administrator of the fund, and you know what is required of you, and you know what was in question. So how comes now you are carrying a box to the Assembly and ignoring the office of the auditor?
Chair, maybe I think you are not getting me clearly. What transpired was the letter that we got after the issues were flagged down came from the clerk of the Assembly. So we were advised when I went to the auditors and wrote back my response plus the team, I was told now I was required to bring it to the Assembly here. Then the Assembly will give now the final report to the auditors. That is how I was guided. And we were going through each and every item with the auditors. But I was advised to go there, which I was doing, plus the soft copy, which I was doing to the auditor who was auditing the fund. Thank you, Chair.
And within the department, do you have an auditor, internal audit system within the department? Maybe let me ask the chief, because we want to help you.
Thank you, Chair. We have internal audit, but for the county.
Yeah, that is now. So they give advice on what to be done.
Yes, they should.
And they're there with their pieces of advice wherever you wanted them.
Yes, they should.
And how comes it was not guided? Because if you could not listen to the auditors, you would have required more guidance from the internal auditors. Because the practice is just one. There's entry meeting and there's exit meeting. So in the entry meeting, the auditor will explain and note very clearly what they require. And you provide, they go on with the audit. Now in the exit meeting, you still have the opportunity to present the papers which you failed to do. Now this was not done. And when he went, maybe he went late, which he maybe he never want to admit. If you go late, you can't amend the financial statement. The only thing you can do now is to come to the Assembly with your papers properly arranged. If you are asked, now you identify this is for this flagged issue. Now you present it to the chair and we hand it over to the auditors for verifications. That is what is happening. But I don't think auditors will tell you, take them to the Assembly, we will also deal with the Assembly. No. It is now that you must come with your evidence. If you have the evidence, you identify what we are talking about. Now you give us, this is one. When we get to another question, this is another one. But it seems you are not guided or you never consulted. Because, or you are an auditor, maybe you are an accountant. Admin, I'm talking to you. No, communication is a two-way traffic. You can't be quiet and we are.
Chair, I was waiting for you to finish the question. I think there's a point that maybe we are not getting clear, or maybe there's a miscommunication. Yes, we did have an entry meeting, and we also did have a exit meeting. So the flagging of the issues came after this. After those meetings, after the exit meeting is when now we got the flagged report. And what I'm saying I was guided to do was to submit these items to the Office of the Auditor General for verification. And finally now I was told that since the letter came from the clerk of the assembly, after that I was to bring, and that one I did, not that I did them today. This evidence I brought sometimes last year, and I think they were received, sir.
Evidence from the Office of the Auditor first, because it's alleged that you directed the officer to bring evidences to the assembly, contrary to what is expected of you.
So Chair, the client was said he submitted the documents to the auditor, but not to the office, because he was supposed to bring the supporting documents and be received in our registry. So when we try to trace those supporting documents they submitted, they are not there in the register. So the auditor in question is saying he keeps the documents, cannot substantiate. So the supporting documents was not received in our registry. If they had been brought through that process, we could have gotten those documents. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Diti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think we need to get a layman definition of the word entry and exit meetings, because so that we have a common understanding. Because I think these two meetings are opportunity for the auditor and the client to interrogate the issues raised, and the exit meeting provide the final opportunity, like the revision, where those issues that could have been omitted in the entry meeting, now you have the last opportunity to present them. Is that a true definition? If that is the case, then the client is alleging that the issues are flagged out after the two meetings. Then what were they discussing in this meeting? I'm lost here. I have many questions, but let's start with that. Let's prosecute that one first. Thank you.
Really, you could not have provided this without the Auditor General flagging such kind of questions. That is why you brought them here. But why were you bringing them here? Because surely you had the exit meeting where you were told what to provide. Instead of taking it to the auditor, you bring it to the assembly. And you can't bring this to the assembly. You know, with the assembly, if you think these are your evidence, we'll pick them. It's just like the police station. If you go there, you will pick them. It is upon you now to defend yourself that day. Now, from the way I see them, really, one admin, how can you manage this? Because it is not our work to arrange your documents. It is upon you to arrange your documents in a way, in sequence, that when you want this, it is annexed this, you can get it there. That is now your work. That is not our work. So, as an assembly, see, you brought your evidence. Now we want to get your evidence the way you brought them. But really, what informed this, delivery of this? It was the flagged out issues with the Auditor General, not with the assembly. So that is why I was asking. You have internal control system within your department, and chief officers just confirmed that you have one person for the entire system. It means you can get into that through that person, then get guidance if you do not get any adequate instructions from the auditors. Because the practice is the same with auditing. It is just the same. The process is one. It is a process, it is not an event. So trying to talk about something different, no. And you know, this is the first time you had audited. So like you don't know what you are saying. If you don't know something, say, I don't know, so that you are helped. But if you know yours, which is not in law, no, that one you can't accept. If you have something to say, could you please answer that question first? I was just expanding.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to respond to that. What comes out from the exit meeting is normally the management letter, popularly referred to as the ML. So the ML is what is normally got after the 2 meetings. And then if they are not appropriately addressed, then they are flagged down the same way ours were flagged down. After the flagging down, Chair, if you allow me, we were guided the same, exactly what you are saying is what happened. We had to take the evidence to the Office of the Auditor General. And they had to go through every bit of this. And then finally we were told to arrange. If you check, they are arranged and annexed and told to now bring to where the letter originated. They were checked, some of them were checked. The only bit that I think I concur with the auditor is that we did not get them now received there and stamped each. I think and that is where we have an omission from my end. Otherwise, thank you.
If these are the true facts on the ground, who are the generators of these documents?
They came from our directorate, the various sector working together with the fund accountant, Chair.
So it is like you don't know this. They came from those people, but you don't know them?
I know them, Chair.
But if you know them, now, why couldn't you take them to the auditor at the time of audit? Why couldn't you avail them to the auditor?
We availed them to the auditor.
But they never saw anything. What are you talking about, admin? The auditors are here. You know, you would be talking about somebody who is not in the house. What are you talking about? You are talking about you're accusing somebody who is here. And let us give them time now. One auditor, why are you misleading the house?
Misleading the house, saying the truth. In our office, we have an elaborate system of receiving documents from clients. When client, for example, in this case, submits the responses, he's supposed to come with 2 copies. And then we stamp the 2 copies. The client goes with another copy as evidence to show that he has submitted the he has submitted the responses to the Office of the Auditor General. Like the way I was explaining earlier, when I asked the client about where are these supporting documents, he told me he bring them and gave to auditor, which cannot be authenticated. Thank you, Chair.
Maybe to give you a benefit of doubt, are they stamped by the Auditor General? And the auditor? Are they stamped by the auditor? Maybe it is you to confirm. These are your documents. They are not stamped or stamped.
Chair, they are not stamped.
Okay.
What we normally get
So
stamped.
it's fine. So that is a confirmation that you did not take them to the auditor. If that is the procedure they are using, and they use to some other funds, because we have audited some, we have prosecuted some of the funds here, it means you did not take them. And if you did not take them, why do you waste our time? because the evidence, you took them to the assembly, they are stamped by the assembly. Confirmation that they came to the assembly. You said you took them to the auditor, they are not stamped. Surely, why do you waste our time? Because we want to move forward. We can't handle one issue. We'll be time bad. Why?
Chair, I have the FS, the financial statement for those years which was stamped by the Office of the Auditor General. I have that when I took them. And it was stamped.
What are we talking about? We are not talking about financial statement. We are talking about the evidence, the supportive documents. We are not talking about the financial statement. The financial statement is not in doubt. What is being doubted is whether you took the required documents to support your financial statement. And this is confirmed that you did not go. That is why I'm asking you. Why do you need to waste our time, knowing very clearly you never went to the auditors with the documents? Because I did that you went to the auditors, you would have seen the stamps, like the one for the assembly is there, to confirm receipt of this kind of. Honorable Member.
Mr. Chairman, a common practice in, let's say, parcel delivery. Today, if you're an officer and you send your, what do you call the person that is normally sent to various offices? The messenger. The common practice is that you provide 2 copies of the same letter. Then one is stamped and left delivered, and then the person comes back to the office with another one stamped received. Other offices will have a register where they register how parcels have been received. Because how then would you ascertain, would the officer messenger confirm to you that the letter has reached the desired destination? Because then if you have something like this, you can just go to the cyber here and just print another one like this one with a letterhead like this one and comes back. How would you ascertain that the letter has been received by the entity or the other side where you wanted the letter to be received? Because then if these people, if the auditor today denied that they did not even receive any of this, how would you confirm that they're lying to you or not? Mr. Administrator, I think you need to be more serious with the way you handle your communications with various authorities that you deal with. Otherwise, whether you are telling the truth or not, it will be very difficult to believe because there is no evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. At times you need to come with the officers so that you understand what they are doing. Otherwise, you will be answerable for issues which are not related to your duties. So you can confirm what is happening. These are issues which will not fall under audit whatsoever. So when you find an officer not doing what is expected, it's quite funny. It's quite funny. You see. So the matter, no, you can't say the matter. The money was until then. The matter is not sorted out. The money is lost. And we know the person to ask over the lost fund. So we'll give you a recommendation of the committee. Number 11.
Yeah, allow me read issue number 11. Excess fund administration expenses. The statement of financial performance reflects an amount of Kenyan shillings 11,146,359 shillings in respect to general expenses and as disclosed in note 7 to the financial statements. However, this expenditure is 7.2% of the budget contrary to Regulation 1971D of the Public Finance Management County Government Regulations 2015, which requires a maximum expenditure of 3%. In addition, the general expenses should have been reported as use of goods and services as required by a reporting template. In the circumstance, In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officer. That is the fund administrator.
Thank you, Chair. Our response is the Kisumu Alcoholic Drinks Control Fund was created via an act of the Kisumu County Assembly 2014. Section 4 of the act explicitly states that the fund earnings must be used to meet both capital and recurrent expenditure. There is no need to amend the act to specify, there is need to amend the act to specify a percentage for general expenditures. As it stands today, we don't have a cap, but we do have it in the PMFA Act. So maybe we'll have to amend the 2014 Act of the fund to conform with the PMFA Act. Thank you, Chair.
Is your last statement part of your response? Is the last statement maybe we'll do what?
No, I will end with there is need to amend the act to specify a percentage for the general expenditures. Thank you.
But why don't you just follow instructions? When the instructions are given by the chair, we will handle you as a very hostile witness here. We are very hostile and cooperative and yeah. So back to the auditors.
Chair, the management was in breach of the county government regulations by spending more than what they are supposed to spend. Thank you.
If you have something to say. If you have something to say on that issue, maybe if you have any response. Back to the members. Honorable Akwash.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I just want to draw the attention of the management that apart from the Act of Kisumu County Assembly 2014, there are some other acts which govern this country. And then sometimes you only follow the act of the county assemblies to the extent in which it is consistent with the act of the national parliament. I think that one is understood. So here, I think from the office of the auditor, we have the regulation, this regulation 197, part 1D of the Public Finance Management Act of County Government, and then regulation 2015, which requires a maximum expenditure of 3%. So I think this response by the management that there is need to amend the act, that is the Kisumu County Assembly 2014, to specify the percentages for general expenditure, this one does not hold. Because even if there is no section of this act restricting the expenditure, the general expenditure, to a certain percentage, there is this one, this regulation 197, part 1D of the Public Finance Management, which states that it should be a maximum of 3%. So they should have used this one. And if at all there is no act which specifies the maximum, how comes the management did not utilize even 1%? How comes they did not utilize 1%? How comes it is just much more than what is required by that other act? You know, you should say we were not aware of this. At the same time, you may have spent, you have spent less or the least of what you can use. But in this case, 7.2% vis-a-vis the 3%, there is something which is wrong. And I think if at all the management was not aware of these other regulations, then I can only advise that you read further. Don't restrict yourself to the act of the County of Kisumu Assembly alone. Just read and read widely so that you don't find yourself outside the law. Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I also tend to agree with the accounting officer to the extent that there was no clear-cut laws that could bar or stop them from spending beyond what is prescribed in the PMF Act. But I think in the circumstances where two sets of laws are in conflict, I think the best practice is for the officer to consult. The county government has the Office of the Attorney General, or the Office of the County Attorney, which is the legal advisor of the county government on matters actually where laws are in conflict that puts the implementing officers at risk. I think the best thing the fund administrator would have done would have to consult widely so that you are guided accordingly. Because actually that's the work of the Office of the County Attorney. That would be my advice. Otherwise, thank you.
We can, who gives the authority in car, especially on your, where you head?
Thank you, Chair. On the fund, the Act explicitly states what we can do with the fund money, and that is why we draw our mandate. Whatever we pay, we draw it from Section 6 of the Kisumu Alcoholic Act. It states what we can pay and what the money can be used for, and that is what has been our guiding principle on our expenditure. Thank you.
So you don't need any authority to incur expenses from your line department or probably from the Ministry of Finance, Department of Finance?
We get from the CEC Finance, Kisumu County.
So it means you can just spend without any question, because really, if the expenses are beyond 3% and there's no maximum level, do you think this draft out of Constitution were, because it is meant to control spending? I think the main reason for putting all this is to to control spending more than you spend within the law. How comes you can just spend and you go beyond 3%, then you go to 7.2? I think you are to present what you are spending to the Department of Finance so that they approve. But they must also approve what is going with the law. They can't just approve for the sake because somebody has presented a paper or ask for approval. Who is doing that? Specifically, who is doing this?
When we have an expenditure, we get a requisition from the fund administrator, and then we have to take it to the accounting officer after our budget. But all this we do in line with the budget, which has been approved as a whole, which specifies and it honors the percentages of development and recurrent.
So that is now the budget of the trade department?
Yes, the fund is independent of the trade budget.
Okay. So you are confirming that whatever messes or gains are not directly related to Mr. Kajwang's department? You can just behave because you are protected by law? That supervisory element is not there within your Department of Trade?
Not really, Chair. No expenditure can be done without the approval of the accounting officer, who is Mr. Kajwang.
Okay. We are getting some reasons why some problems there. So this issue is not sorted out. Yeah, hello.
Honorable Chair, I think the accounting officer said that whenever they want to utilize funds, they request. And the requisitions are being approved by Mr. Kajwang, the chief officer, who is around, Mr. Timothy Nyakwamba. If that is so, I would ask Mr. Timothy, the chief officer, because he's here, what are the guiding principles during the approval of such requests? Because you will get some are approved, some are not approved. There must be a guiding principle. Which law or which regulation is he using to approve or to disapprove?
Chief, this is a matter of public fund. This is a public finance. Even if the money is used, we need value for it. But before approval, as alleged by the fund administrator, it has to go through your desk. What are the guiding principles, really? Because if the money is left for somebody to spend at will, without any regulation or cap, I think there's a problem. There's a very big problem. What is coming out in the community, that's a big problem. So what is your take?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, because our discussion here, I believe, is both aired to the public and also recorded in the House, I would beg that the name of Mr. Timothy Nyakwamba be removed from this discussion. In any case, we are discussing events of 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023. I got into this office in August 2024. And so let us just call it Chief Officer, but not Mr. Timothy Kajwang. Number two, Chair, the fund operates on a budget. And this budget is approved by the CCM Finance. After the budget is approved, then the fund management can then now execute the approved items of that budget. I want to believe that when discussions are on and budgets are raised and approval happens, this percentage that we are talking about is definitely pegged on a figure. So when we talk of 3% or 7.3%, we are talking of a percentage pegged on a figure. Procedurally, when the fund manager has raised expenditure request, this expenditure is further approved by the CCM Finance. And so If it is so approved, then I believe probably what happened in the past was that the chief officers may have played gallery with what the CCM has already approved. But the current practice for now, 2024, 2025, is that before any expenditure is executed, we have to write to the CCM in a department that he has created expenditure committee to seek approval of expenditure before the chief officer is able now to approve and process expenditure. But that is current. I suspect that this kind of current procedure may not have been observed in the past. And so that is why we could be talking of approvals that probably we can't peg on whoever did the approvals. Thank you, sir.
You are here in the capacity of the chief officer. You are the current office holder of the trade and some other things, you know. We will not, before we call whoever was in that office, we will always call you here to give evidence concerning your department. By virtue of the holder of that office, you must underline and will always be answerable to anything which happened before or currently. Until then, you tell us who was in charge by then. In fact, you are the right person to tell us if there was anybody who served in that office. And the law is very clear. Whether you are in office or not, you are answerable to all this. So whoever was there, we just get them. But for now, it is Timothy Nyakwamba in charge of trades. And you will be answerable to the assembly, wherever we want you. So no way you will not run away. Get it very clear. And we will not take away your name from all these issues. Had it that you did not come here, we wouldn't have gotten all these explanations we are talking about now. And because you are here with authority given to you to serve as the AI holder, you have to talk authoritatively on issues. So get it very clear. It is a ruling from the chair. You know, when the chair rules, you don't now get into the microphone again. Get it very clear when you will be leaving this assembly that you are responsible for your department. I hope you are properly guided. Thank you. Next question. We agreed that most of the issues in 2020, 2021, 2020, 2021, 2022 are repeating themselves. So we want to give you a guidance on the kind of questions to handle in 2021, 2022. We are going to deal with question number 3 under financial. Question number 3. Under financial. It is fines, penalties, and other levies. Anything? Okay. Question 3. Back to the leaders.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me read issue number 3 under the year 2021-2022 financial year. The issue was fines, penalties, and other levies. The statement of financial performance reflects fines, penalties, and other levies amount of Kenyan shillings 18,719,720 shillings, which, as disclosed in note 3 to the financial statements, relates to license fees collected during the year under review. Further, the fund management did not present a register of bars and restaurants operating in the county for audit verification. In addition, management did not indicate how each category of the licenses were charged. In the circumstances, the accuracy and the completeness of the reported revenue of 18,719,720 shillings could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Fund Administrator.
Thank you, Chair. Management response. 1. Register of all licensed outlets for the financial year 2021-2022 attached and annexed 2B. Category of all licenses, fees, and finance bill for the year 2021-2022, which was presented, annexed 2B. Thank you.
To the auditors.
Chair, I can confirm we did not receive the supporting documents. So the matter remains unresolved. Thank you.
Maybe if you have something to say, Administrator.
Chair, I think we'll submit that as you had guided earlier on, if we are given more time, so that the auditors can go through the evidence that we have. Thank you.
How do you account for the money collected from the bus, and where do you know where they are? Do you know where they are? And if you know where they are, you can't account for you don't have a register for the bus? Surely. You mean you can fail? No, just approve. You can fail to bring a list of the bus operating in Kisumu County, those of which are licensed and generating income. You want that one you want to be given time to bring it later? No, maybe we have a deputy director also here. You know, you might go there without talking, which is quite unfortunate. Is that how you operate in your department?
Thank you.
With all those powers given to you by the chief officer to operate probably independently, you can't come up with a register of all the bars in Kisumu County, those who are paying tax? You can respond.
Thank you, Chair. As been alluded to in the first question, which was a thorn in the flesh, we've gotten guidance on how to submit these documents. These documents are there. And the real issue is, at the point of submitting, there was a procedure which was omitted. But the registers are there. We apologize for that.
So you are asking Assembly to present them later with all that time given to you by the auditor, and you say the register is there, the documents are there, and you expect we don't ask this kind of questions? We ignore them? Because the first thing I'll ask you, how many bars do you have in Kisumu County? And how much do we get from the bars? There are only two questions. Some are administrative. And that is the first thing you should be having in place. How many bars do we have? How many are paying? And how much do you net from bars? From a layman's language. That is the first question. So those are some of the things you must be having. Honorable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, the auditor is asking a very simple question here. That how do you want to confirm to the people of Kisumu that 18,719,720 is closed, is the money that really should have been collected from this. That's the only thing they want to confirm. And by providing the list of bars, restaurants, and the rates at which you generate or collect revenue from them, that is enough to answer this question. And again, Mr. Chairman, still go back to the problem that you just discussed. You said you submitted a register. Either you go with the register, and then you placed it at the reception, and then you go back because you have walked into the compound or the building of the office of the Auditor General. Then you just go back, assuming or believing that it has been received. Just being patient and following the rules, simple rules, placing 2 copies, stamp, then you go back with yours. It's an evidence. Because then you would have attached that thing here. And then we just say, go to Annex 3, and we see the document that was received on the date. The question is answered. It's a very simple practice. That's the only, according to my understanding, that's the only thing auditor is asking here. Nothing else other than that. We just think, I don't know whether you call it, is it laziness in this practice? I don't know what to call it. But for lack of a better word, allow me to use that, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Chair, I think some of these, actually people leading these public institutions, I think very stiffer recommendations sometimes need to be suggested so that people can learn to change. Otherwise, you can say the money, this money is not true money that was supposed to be collected, and probably 3 times the much disclosed here is lost. Somebody can easily conclude that, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Akwach.
Chair, as far as the disclosure is concerned, we may read some mischief, because I want to believe that the management had the register by the time of audit. And even the register of these bars, even the categories and what have you. So, and it is an offense to fail to give the supporting documents at the time of audit. There is always timeline, so the management should be reminded of that. One day, the law may catch up with you. So it is time we avoid these small mistakes, because sometimes all the public, before the public, maybe you are still cooking the register to match whatever was disclosed. Because maybe whatever was collected was not matching whatever was disclosed. So that one will be the thinking if you don't give the supporting documents in time. But if at all you are ready with these supporting documents, you disclose and support, then those thinkings will not be there. You know, sometimes you may do your work properly. You've hidden nothing. You've eaten nothing. You've misappropriated nothing. But failure now to provide the supporting documents will just bring that thinking that something fishy has been going on here. Something that even if you hear people say, you will even want to cry. I've been doing my work so well, but now these people are thinking ill of me, swindling funds, and I've done nothing. You know within yourself that you've completely done nothing wrong. So please, may I would just encourage you, let us be providing these supporting documents so that we improve on the opinion of the entities that we are managing. You know, if that one is achieved, even us, the public will change their perceptions on us, the oversight. authority. So sometimes the public, they have a thinking that we are in bed with the executive. We are doing nothing. Because sometimes there is disclaimer and we are not making noise. You see, there is adverse opinion. To them, we are not doing anything because maybe some people are not watching, some are not digital, they are not watching us. So they know the assembly is just seated and money is getting lost. When they hear of disclaimer, these people even failed to provide the supporting documents. What are they hiding? If it is advanced, you provided the document, but things are wrong. You see? But the assembly are just watching. That is what is in their opinion, that we are doing nothing. But if we could be getting unqualified opinion, my brother, even the public, they will vindicate us. That the assembly at least is doing something. It used to be a disclaimer, adverse, but nowadays it is just unqualified and some few qualified. So let us work together. Yeah, let us work together. And if at all you have problems, because you may not know everything, just visit the office of the Auditor General. Share with them the challenges that are there so that they help you. Put up good reports so that we make Kisumu County a better place than we found it when we were getting into these offices. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we don't need to wait for any time. The time is just today. Already you are caught. Where see, you have gone against the law. Obviously, you are caught here. So we don't need to wait for tomorrow. Why do we need to wait for tomorrow? We need to act on issues so that we save tomorrow. That is what is here. So I'm making a correction on that member who said that the law will catch up with you. No, the law is today, tomorrow, it was yesterday, and it will be there. So it must catch up with you so that you improve tomorrow. We'll make a determination on this. It is very clear. Honorable Rakwach, approach the chair. Approach the chair. We are doing 2022, 2023. Now it is question number 6, 7, 8, and 11. But you want to start with question 8. It is under financial. Question 8. It is talking over irregular borrowing. I think that it is ready. You can take the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Let me read issue number 8 for the year 2022-2023 financial year. The issue is irregular borrowing. The Department of Trade, Tourism, Industry and Marketing made a borrowing of Kenyan shillings 481,500 shillings from the Liquor Fund on 23rd January 2023 to facilitate the CCM trade to attend launch of a project in Nairobi. Payments were made via imprest issued to 7 officers. However, the amount was not refunded as at 30th June 2023. In the circumstances, the recoverability of the amount of Kenyan shillings 481,500 shillings borrowed from the fund could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officer, fund administrator.
Thank you, Chair. The management response: the money was factored in the budget and will be paid once the supplementary budget is approved. See Annex 8 for the details. Thank you.
Back to the auditors.
Thank you, Chair. There was no evidence to confirm the amount borrowed was refunded to the fund. Thank you.
Back to the accounting officer.
Chair, due to the cash flow problems in the county, the main department was not able to refund the money, but we have made a letter, a reminder to the CEC Finance to authorize the department to return the money to the Liquor Fund. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I'm saying that the department has not yet refunded the money, but they did make the request of the supplementary, and when funds are available, the money will be refunded back to the Liquor Fund. Consequently, we have made a reminder letter too, so that that money is refunded back, and we have the same letters.
Done. When was that borrowing done?
The borrowing was done in January 2023.
Be very specific. To who?
It was to facilitate the department, 7 officers, including myself, who are to attend a launch in Nairobi of a program in the department.
Who was the CC then?
The CC was Madam Farida Salim, and the chief officer, I think maybe it was, I'm not so sure, but the CC was Madam Farida. January 2023.
Maybe before I go further, Honorable Member, a question?
Honorable Chair, this is laughable. This is laughable. This is a very big shame on us. Because first, Honorable Chair, first I wish to know, because we know the guidelines for interest. The interest was given to 7 officers. I think they is supposed to have surrendered within 7 days. So first, we should have had the surrenders from the 7 officers, indicating that indeed there was an interest given of 481,500 shillings. There should have been supporting documents, the surrender. And if at all the surrenders were not done within 7 days, then that one is also another case altogether. The 7 officers are in breach, and even the department which was supposed to initiate the process of recovering that has also slept on the job. That is the first case that the accounting officer will have to deal with. He will have to showcase, if at all, the 7 officers had surrendered within 7 days, how they spent the money amounting to 481,500 shillings. Another one, Honorable Chair. If the borrowing were made in fact, before I even go there, another offense, Honorable Chair, there is always a budget. And we are being encouraged to spend as per the approved budget. Was there was this 481,500 in the budget? That is another question. And then secondly, the accounting officer, or rather the response, is talking of the supplementary budget, that the money will be factored in the budget once the supplementary budget is approved. I hope the management is noting all this, because I have 3 sets of questions. The 2 sets I'm done with. If the borrowing was done in January 2023, we had a budget which we passed on 30th June 2023. Was it factored there? I don't know whether it was an oversight, as is the case of whatever has been queried by the office of, in many cases, the management do normally say it was an oversight, it was an oversight. In 2023 June, what happened? Why was it not factored in the budget? Then, if we leave alone the budget of 2023 June, there was a budget in 2024 June last year, the current budget we are working on with now. Why was it not factored in there? Why wait until 2025, around April or March, to start talking about a supplementary? What went wrong? I think those are the questions that I have for the management, because the assembly will not be taken for granted. We are the ones who passed the budget. So they have to tell us why the 2 financial years have gone without factoring that budget.
Honorable DT.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I want to, I don't know whether I am the one who is not getting this thing right. My reading tells me that the borrowing was between the Department of between the Lekwa Fund and the Department of Trade and Tourism Industry. And therefore, the issues of surrendering the interest, accounting for the money was within the Department of Trade, because the employees were employees of the department, isn't it? So it is the department that borrowed money from the fund. So whoever to deal with whether the money was refunded was the department. And I think, in my opinion, that is not the big issue here. My big issue with this is when you read the management response, the money was factored in the budget. I don't know which budget. And will be paid once the supplementary budget is approved. There is main budget and supplementary budget. So which budget? And which budget or which financial year? It can be even budget of 2032. Financial year 2032, 2033. So it's not clear here whether this money was factored in the main budget or the supplementary budget of which year? If it is said the subsequent year, you may say, oh, subsequent year or next year of 2021-22 will be 2023. But it's just reading plain, the money was factored in the budget. Which budget? And will be paid once the supplementary budget is approved. So you factor the money in the budget, in the main budget, and you don't implement it, you wait for the supplementary budget to be approved is when you pay the money. So that confusion is what I don't understand. Maybe the accounting officer can explain to us where are we, which budget are we talking about and which supplementary are we talking about, and why the mix between the main budget where the money is factored and the money cannot be paid with the main budget once approved, is waiting until the supplementary budget again is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I will start with the first set of questions made by Honorable Akwach. The budget approval was for the 2023-2024 supplementary budget, to be precise. But it was early in the year, and spending had been curtailed until the supplementary budget was approved. So the main department could not access their funds, and we had to wait for the supplementary budget. And we had to wait. On the surrender, I think it wasn't on the issue flagged. The surrender was done within the requisite time by all the 7 officers. The bone of contention that we have is the refund of the money to the liquor fund. That is what is still not completed. I'll go to the second set. It's true, just as Honorable Unditi has said, the borrowing was between the department and the liquor fund, and a letter was done not to the CEC, to the CEC Finance, who gave approval for the same before the department initiated the borrowing. It was done, a letter was done, and approval got on the same, and we have letter to that effect. I think the borrowing letter should be among the evidence here. I'm not so sure.
Where is the letter? You see, evidence, when we talk about auditing, it is just a matter of evidence. It's not just a matter of hearsay. It is among the letters. What do you mean? These are not, these are your documents. You should have carried with you to support the facts you are talking about. Now, where is the letter you are talking about? You talk about it was approved. That is the question. Where is the evidence so that you will move forward? Or you will bring?
No, I think the letter is here. I can get it. Yeah, if you give me authority to check here, I can show you the letter of borrowing.
So the letter is inside here. And now, so it was like the department requested the liquor to advance some soft loan. Was that probably what is happening?
Yes, Chair.
So what was the agreement? How were they to pay back? Because it is like somebody, the clerk is waiting for his money to come, or could not get an IE holder to do what is expected. Now, could you please advance us this so that we get it back? How comes it was getting back to the budget again? Taxpayers' money. How? Because this is within the department. How? Why were you taking it back there? Why? Because it was the department to pay back. Yeah. How? Was in the department. The department of telecom service. want some money from that one carried by the who did you that we appropriate another money assembly, and what happened with the money we done within the
I think, Mr. Chairman, a rejoinder to your statement is that what is flagged out here is not whether the money exchanged, let me use the word hands for purposes of this conversation, irregularly. That is not flagged out here. Whether the department did not follow the procedure to get money from the liquor fund, that is not flagged out here. What is flagged out here is that the money was to be refunded by the end of the financial year or ending 30th June 2023. And by the time of the audit, there was no evidence that the money was refunded. Are we together? Then the question is, this was like the money advanced, which was part of the budget of the department. Because if the department had their money, they would have not gone to borrow the money from the fund. So that's part of their overall budget. So whether they factor it in their budget, for me, is not an issue. The issue is, why did they not refund the money? Because by 30th June, it means there must have been an arrangement or an agreement. The money was supposed to be refunded before the end of financial year, which was ending 30th June 2023. So the question the auditor is raising here, is flagging out here, why was the money not refunded in time or on time? But I think all must have been not procedures of borrowing and paying back. Thank you.
I think you said something. You are talking about something. You talk about maybe lack of funds, you bought something like that. Was that your answer? It was not answer. It was not refunded back to the department, to the liquor, because there was a lack of fund. You went for supplementary. It never happened. Now you had a cross hand. You had nothing to do. But you remember, we are not auditing the department. We are auditing liquor, the accounts of liquor, which was also claimed to be very independent. This is where you are given opportunity to act directly to the Office of the Finance. And this is why department headed by Timothy will not order you, but request, because you are independent on your own. So, what makes the issue quite complicated? Instead of waiting to refund yourself within the department, you want what is called supplementary budget, which is done by the assembly. So that if it is done and we give you more money, you can now go on and utilize that while ignoring the internal loaning system. Another issue which is also coming up, whether the issue is flagged by the auditor, we are the oversight authority. Given what is given by the matters flagged by the auditor, we can go further and know whether there was a surrender of impress. We are allowed to get to any office of the executive to do the oversight role. So that is now, whether it is mentioned here or not mentioned here, we can make a decision to dig further on such kind of issues. So one thing which is there, which I see the chief wants to explain, Chief, could you please, because I know you were briefed, there was a handover and such kind of things. You were briefed on these things. Could you please now save your voice from this?
Thank you, Chair. I think that some of the information that is coming out is probably could be broken down because of semantics. There was no budget to place, whether supplementary or departmental budget, to refund this. This money was given to individuals who are attending an official function. The only modality of refund would have been that they claim from the main department and then surrender to the liquor, and that would be the way of refund. But Chair, the issue of the supplementary is also not because we had raised any new budget. The issue of the supplementary is that the period at which the department had wanted to respond to this official function, there was a caveat on expenditure because the supplementary arrangements were on. So the department could not spend. So we were not waiting for any approvals or further approvals for this. Chair, it is in record, and this one you can get evidence from the finance that all the staff allowances for the financial year 2023-2024 were not paid and were voided. And therefore, if these individuals who are supported may have made claims so that they refund, I can assure you, up to now, they have not received these claims. If they had received, we would have found modalities of now then compelling them to refund to the liquor fund or raise surcharges on them.
But maybe on the part of the assembly, not the auditor, are you aware they have surrendered their impress within the 7 days? Those who attended, you are the accounting officer.
Chair, like I've said, they have raised the claims. You know, surrender can be done by paper or by money. So now that they have raised their claims, either they be paid, then they surrender by money, or we give instruction to finance that the claims be paid directly to the liquor fund. But because these claims have not been paid, nothing has gone back to the fund.
Or whether is as required by law, that is now what you cannot ascertain.
The claim documents are still with finance.
He has said they have surrendered there because the claims have not been paid. We understand, we understand with now the claims and allowances when they, even with the assembly, when you want our allowances, it's not always very easy. We look for them. I know that is what they could, that is the first charge on an employee. You will go for that, we know. But we don't want to assume. Don't worry, we can visit you. We can visit you. Yeah.
Mr. Akwaj, Honorable Akwaj kept me here with some writings here until I almost forgot to follow. What I'm asking, the 7 days window period required within which officers need to surrender their returns, the impress, that is done because my assumption is the money that was borrowed, and the chief officer has confirmed here, that the money was given to people individually. So that means the departments does not owe individual who went on assignment. Yes.
Not really as such. You know, the money was borrowed from the liquor by the department. They owe us that. That is why the chief is trying to explain. Because they were the one controlling the money. They were the one giving out the money, not the liquor. They were the ones giving the money for such kind of travels. That is why we ask chief that we can visit him anytime, or we can require such kind of documents to be provided here. Because I know he has the copies with him. Yes.
Surrender the impress by now, because them they were given money. It is now the liquor department that is now demanding refund from the department. But otherwise, there should not be contention on surrendering the impress by the officers to the department, because the department borrowed money and cleared with the officers. Is that?
Chief, is that the position so far? Confirm, and then we move on.
Yes, sir. That is the position, but we are confident because these officers' claims have not been paid. So the money is still within our control.
Remember, the letter was written to the Department of Finance. Remember? You see, that is a wrong recipient of the letter. I think it should write directly to you people, demanding their money. Demand letters would be to you, not to the department, to the Department of Finance. Why? Why was he going through? Hey, why were you going to the Department of Finance? You said you have a letter here indicating what you wrote to the Department of Finance. Why were you writing to the Department of Finance? No, Chief, that is not your question. That's a question of the...
We were writing to the CEC Finance to get the appropriate approval before any expenditure from the fund. We can't just do it.
What of the demand letter of refund? Have you done any refund letter to the Department of Trade concerning the refund, because they are delayed?
Yes, I've done 2 letters to the chief officer.
Letter, okay. But it's not hearsay. You don't have letters to confirm that you did a letter, interdepartmental correspondence, or you will bring?
Chair, that one I have 2 letters I've written, and my chief officer can confirm that we have tried to endeavor so that we comply with all the audit requirements. Among them, the 2 letters I've done so that we get back the money to the fund, so that our council.
We can't allow it to.
So are you writing to the Department of Finance to intercede for you? Sorry for that, Mr. Chair. One admin, are you writing to the Finance Department to intercede for you, because there is an impression that the Department of Trade has refused to pay you? Because the ordinary practice would have been you are writing a demand letter to the Department of Trade to reimburse you the money that you advance them or you lend them. So by writing to the Department of Finance, it's like you are giving an impression that the department has refused to pay you within the timelines. So you are writing to the mother, because the finance overall to intercede for you or stop their money and branch some to your account.
But it is just clear. It is just clear you messed somewhere. I think before writing back to the finance, you should have just dealt with it in the interdepartment. Until then, now you can, you can escalate that probably to CCM if the chief refuses. But I realize the chief did not refuse. You also understand the problem which is there. But he went further and wrote a letter to the finance department. Why? That is what he was trying to understand. Yeah. You can do it so quick so that we proceed.
Thank you, Chair. There are two issues here. The first one which we wrote to finance was to get approval so that these individual officers could get the money. That one we got. That is the first letter I was talking about. The other two letters now is for the department to facilitate the refund. This one now have done to my chief officer. The two letters, because the time is really going and it may pile up. So I've done two letters to the chief officer so that the refund should be done from the department to the Laker Fund. Thank you.
Okay. What we also realized, when a chief, if you have some, your son who has overgrown, there's a son who has overgrown, you don't need to put him in your compound because he's acting independently. At the same time, you are the head of the home. It's quite unfortunate, I understand. You need to align this, these funds with the department because somebody is now behaving so funny, dealing with another department other than you are the mother. You see, it's quite funny. It doesn't make, there's a conflict of interest and everything. I don't know how you can operate. In fact, you have just done a favor for him to come here. You don't need to be here. There's a grown child. So yeah, he's behaving independently. Thank you for having that kind of gesture. Number 7. Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me read issue number 7, inaccurate accounting for interest under general office expenses. The statement of financial performance reflects an amount of Kenyan shillings 16,655,270 shillings in respect of use of goods and services, which, as disclosed in Note 2 to the financial statements, includes general office expenses of 13,810,971 shillings. This amount in turn includes Kenyan shillings 5,809,330 shillings in respect of interest issued to various staff which had been expensed at the point of issue and remained unsurrendered as at the time of audit in November 2023. In addition, the interest register maintained lacked important information such as warrant numbers, interest surrender date, mode of surrender, amount surrendered, balance outstanding, and the payment voucher number used to surrender. In the circumstances, the accuracy of general office expenses amount of Kenyan shillings 13,810,971 shillings and the propriety and recoverability of outstanding interest amounting to Kenyan shillings 5,809,330 shillings could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
To the accounting officers.
Surrender vouchers attached and submitted of the respective officers. Thank you.
To the accounting, back to the auditors.
Chair, we did not receive the surrender vouchers and updated interest register.
The opportunity if you have something to say.
Just as I said earlier on, when we got this, we were compelled to take the evidence to the Auditor General. But I'm learning a new trend here because what normally happens, if you go with the documents at the Auditor General, they will refer you to the individual auditor who is dealing with that. And that is where we took all our surrender files of the officers, and he looked on them and gave us back the files, which I consequently brought back here now to the assembly as per the auditor's instruction. But I've learned that I need now to have got stamped, received at that place. So we did that and the files were returned to us and we brought to the assembly. Thank you.
And did you go through this report before coming to the assembly? As an individual, did you go through this report?
Yes, I did, Chair.
But why did you not carry your supportive documents? Why did you have to wait until today? See, you had time. Even the 2 days. So it was enough for you to go for the right documents, then you bring them. You said, I once took these documents to the auditor, and they were brought back to me. And these are the evidence. And we'll only accept that if they were stamped, because when you go there, there's official way of doing things. They have to be stamped, like the ones stamped by the assembly. One officer, you can't account for 16 million. If you can't account for 60 million, really, if you can't account, you are invited by the auditor, you can't account. These are sensitive issues. The other time you could not account 11 millions, I don't know how much. You could not. You could not even produce one paper to show that this was done this way. Now, it is 16 million again. Really? You expect that we just take it for granted that way? Where are the supportive documents? Because it was you to prepare your books properly. And the auditing is all about evidence. There's nothing else. If you have the evidence, tunapita. But if they are not there, and the auditor is also saying, you did not take them to him, you also don't have yours. Now, how do you expect to help? Because we sit here as judges, is the prosecutor. And we must give you the most available environment so far, so that you don't appear that you are biased against you. And you are given the opportunity. You had all the papers from that time up to now. Admin, see, even if you want to talk, what do you want to talk of? You see, there's no need for talking so much. We need supportive documents. Deputy Director, where are your documents? You see how you are embarrassing the chief now? Chief, these are your people. These are people who are put to be in charge of public resources. Are these people serious? Honorable DT, we need to make a resolutions on these people so that they stop misusing offices given to them. And I know, Chief, you are so much surprised having come from national government to county government. It's funny. It's funny. People don't follow law. People just behave the way they want. And when we will be recommending our own observation on matters, somebody will be crying, oh. You see? You heard the other time, 11 million cannot be accounted for. 16 million cannot be accounted for. And you expect we sit down and that is our role? We can't do that. Number 6, we are going to make a very far-reaching solutions. Number 6.
Chair, allow me read issue number 6, unsupported expenditure on use of goods and services. The statement of financial performance reflects an amount of Kenyan shillings 16,655,275 shillings in respect of use of goods and services and as disclosed in note 2 to the financial statements. However, the ledgers and the schedules were not provided for audit verification. Rather, an amount of Kenyan shillings 1,944,396 was spent on infrastructure and the civil works. However, no payment vouchers were provided in support of the expenditure. In the circumstances, the accuracy and the completeness of the use of goods amount of 16,655,575 shillings could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officers.
Chair, on this matter, issue number 6, the file that is cited here, I think it got misplaced when the items were taken to the internal auditor. And that is why we did not respond.
Kindly read your responses first.
There was no response on this, sir.
If that is what you say, then we'll give you time. See, we promise to give you time, enough time. If you fail to utilize that, that is now up to you. Auditor, back to the auditor.
Yeah, management did not provide the supporting documents for this issue. So the matter remains unresolved. Thank you.
So admin, you had something to say. You are now free to say what you are saying.
No, thank you, Chair. I was just explaining why we did not respond, because the file, we have missed it looked for it. We had taken our documents to the internal audit office, and when the others were returned, we could not find this specific file for a work that was done in our rehabilitation center. But we are in the process of making up a new file so that it can conform. Thank you.
Is it still missing?
Yes, it is still missing.
Honorable member, while you are a member of the committee by that time, you can remember we had some issues on the missing file. And that will bring us to another question coming. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I really sympathize with the chief officer, having come from the national government and now working in this environment where you don't even know where the tail or the head is. It is very difficult, but my brother, that is the Kenya for you. Because these are things that you don't understand how they work. I mentioned here that these things we're not doing them for the auditor. We're just doing them. We're just doing the right thing to cover us so that you are not, there's nothing as bad as when you're being followed in retirement. The DCI guys are coming for you when you are taking care of your 2 sheep or 2 herds of cattle in the village. Because this thing can follow you as long as you are not dead. My friend, my advice would be, because some of us have been in this position. And one thing I admire is that when I get out of this, the next place I would want to work in is this liquor. Because this liquor fund is what do you call it? It's just like a freehold. No, nothing, no regulation, nothing about tomorrow. Because how do you release all your documents without a backup? What will protect you as an officer? Because a scrupulous guy somewhere there or somebody who's hunting you would destroy this thing and tomorrow tell you that we don't have this. Have you heard about people plugging some papers in the file? Is that news to you? It is a practice in this country. So where is your defense mechanism? So that when somebody comes tomorrow that we didn't see this, we didn't see this, where is yours that you are arming yourself with? You just release everything like somebody. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
At times you may be, it's quite unfortunate. Anyway, committing suicide, that one is very dangerous. Given the sensitivity of your department or your entity, I will not give such kind of documents to. No. This is where you will have to answer a lot of questions. So, Deputy, you don't have a backup mechanism within your. You can only claim of giving some documents and here imeenda. Two gentlemen of your caliber. Really? Does it really beat facts? Even your past answers are in doubt. We are in doubt with your past answers. You are not serious people. That is now putting your career in a very funny situation. Yeah. But really, Bwana Deputy, what are your roles? You know, it comes to now, we have to be put what are your roles in the fund? Kindly just be open and tell us what you are doing.
Thank you very much, Chair. My role is to perform any duty that is assigned to me by the director. Thank you.
So it is coming very clearly that the director, you are a lone ranger. You work in silo. You don't involve others. If you involve others, I don't think you will be messing the way you are messing up. And if we are accusing you wrongly, kindly defend yourself. Yeah, you are allowed to answer.
Chair, with all due respect, the issue of the file that went missing, normally it is not my office that keeps the file. It got lost from the procurement and accountant. That is where, even when the auditors come, a paid-up file is normally in the accounts office. So from the accounts office, they have a cabinet where they lock up the files that have been paid. So it is from there that when the file was going to the internal audit section, that is where they could not trace it. It is not that we keep the files from our end. Ours is when the auditors come, now we have to go to procurement, we have to go to accountant, and to the sub-counties for them to provide the information that we want. But before them, we had to make the necessary preparations for the same. But on this particular file, it was in the accounts department. That is where, but it was a supply file. The items that were supplied are there, but the file itself is the one which is missing. Thank you.
Accountant, supply chain officer, wherever secretary, those are not applicable here now. It is the account, the administrator, fund administrator. Not even the chief. It's just a backup. Yes, thank you.
Fund administrator. Which file is in your office? Because you are the CEO of the fund, isn't it? Anybody, external person that would want to interact with the organization, whether on the issues happening at the sub-county, ward, where, do you direct him to the sub-county, the one in charge of the sub-county? Which file is in your office? Because none of these files is in your office.
I remain, you want to answer that. You want to answer the kind of files in your office? That one is so much. That one you will talk until evening because you will open a lot of holes. We are going to make a decision on that. We proceed. Number 11, which is probably the last one.
Chair, allow me read issue number 11. Failure to establish rehabilitation facilities in administrative wards. Review of records revealed that the fund had not established treatment and rehabilitation facilities and programs for persons dependent on alcoholic drinks in the 35 wards out of the 36 wards in the county. This is contrary to Section 5(1)(a) of the Kisumu County Alcoholic Alcoholic Drinks Control Act 2014, which requires the fund, in cooperation with other relevant county and national government agencies, to establish treatment and rehabilitation facilities and programs for persons dependent on alcoholic drinks in all wards. In the circumstances, the fund management was in breach of the law, and the fund may not achieve its objective of promotion of research, treatment, and rehabilitation of persons dependent on alcoholic drinks. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officers.
Management response. The alcohol and drug abuse menace is a big challenge in our society. The Kisumu Drinks Control Alcoholic Act 2014, Section 5.1 requires the establishment of rehabilitation facilities in all the wards. This is practically unrealistic and unsustainable. We have started to engage stakeholders with the view of amending the Act to make it alive to the realities. Building of 35 rehabilitation centers in the county require both massive human and capital resources. Kisumu County also has 35 wards and not 36 as indicated. Thank you.
Back to the auditors.
Chair, management has confirmed they have not adhered to this law by constructing the rehabilitation centers in all the 36 wards. Thank you.
Back to the accounting officer. If you have something to say.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to add that on that section we have started and we are building one rehabilitation center in Nyangoma, Masogo Nyangoma ward, and it is almost 90% complete. After that, we are going to move maybe to west and spread it across the county. That is what we are doing to help in dealing with alcohol and drug abuse, especially for addicts and such like people.
Okay.
But currently, we only have one in Masogo Nyangoma. Thank you.
Honorable Akwach.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, up to that extent, I have to say that I agree with the management. Doing a rehabilitation center in each and every ward, I think even our budget cannot support that. So maybe the highest that can be achieved is maybe a rehab center per sub-county. Yeah, one per sub-county. Or maybe if we would have divided Kisumu into 3, then 3 for the county. I think because you will not just do a rehab center, then you leave it. They are supporting programs. Yeah, there are other equipment that will have to be put there. There are facilitators that are to be there. And then these people who are being rehabilitated, they also eat. They don't day school. They sleep there. So those are the supporting programs that county will also have to look into. So I don't think it is realistic for 35 wards. The highest is 1 per sub-county. I think that one is what can be, supported. So we also need to be realistic. So I think there will be need that we amend. We bring a bill amending that section so that whatever they are doing is inconsistent with whatever we have in our act. So up to that extent, I agree with them.
An independent observation, really, by the members of the county assembly. At times you must seek our help. You know, if you don't seek our help, like you can ask the assembly to amend. That is one thing, but it's not appearing in your report. That is one thing. Secondly, there are some other things which we need to do as an assembly, like adding you more money, appropriating more money to your department. I understand you are underfunded. Seriously. Seriously. The other time we were trying to tell our members to appropriate money on projects within the department. but many were not very ready to do that. I don't know what's wrong with them. But for the people who are understanding, those who are directly dealing with you, like the members of the Picpac, we understand some of them are very unrealistic. It can't be. It can't be possible, really. Director, you have something to say? Deputy?
Thank you very much, Chair. I think we all agree that drug menace is a hindrance in our society. And sometimes I pity you, our local political leaders, when you interact with the drunkards. Sometimes it's a bit of a shame. The auditors are not wrong. They are just interpreting what is there in the Act, that we are supposed to have rehabilitation centers in 36, all the 35 wards. That is what is there in the Act. As it is, there's another school of thought that when we talk of building and having, they are two different and distinct. Building and having. Building is a tall order, but having is very much possible. Probably, I believe that each and every ward probably has a health center or a hospital annexed to it. So if we are to have rehabilitation center, then we can seek your indulgence through a very nicely done paper to seek rooms in those health centers to act as a rehabilitation center. Because mostly rehabilitation center deals with counseling. Probably we can have day scholars, just like Sinai in Nairobi. In all these health centers, we just need to have 2 or 3 rooms. And then we have the right personnel. Then probably the next audit will show them that we have rehabilitation center in all the 35 wards functioning. Thank you.
We understand your predicament, Bwana Deputy Fund Admin. Really, you are in a very funny situation where you must be given some role to do. But you have a very valid point, which probably you cannot do if you don't consult your director. It's quite unfortunate. We are seeing a sense in that. But the auditor is also talking about lack of strategic plan for the fund. How do we do that? Despite all those good ideas, that is question 12. A lack of strategic plan for the fund. How can you have a fund without a plan? Really, you see, you need to work on some other issues. If they don't have a plan, a strategic plan that will make them move. That is 12, question 12. The documents were reviewed and it was quite funny that it wasn't there. So those are some of the issues which are also there. I think we are done. The parting shot from members of the County Assembly. Honorable Diti.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody, beginning with the Office of the Auditor General, members of the County Assembly, plus the Secretariat Technical Team, the department, plus the Fund Administrator and his deputy. I think so far so good, we are doing well. And what I would advise is that I think when we talk to each other, we will realize that there's a lot that we can achieve together. Even these issues like the one the deputy is raising, these are things that because you are now more independent, there's issues that there's a committee, the line committee, you can have a discussion with them, raise some of the issues that you guys are going through. Domiciling the rehabilitation center within the health facilities within the wards are much more easier than having them constructed independently. So those are some of the conversations, including doing the amendments to the act. We may not know as an assembly where the shoe pinches you because we deal with the department across the county. So unless an institution like you comes out to have a discussion with the assembly or department of the assembly on issues that directly affect them, we may not know. So that's why it's important for us to collaborate, work together, and I think we'll achieve more working together than when we are trying to hide our problem, fear each other, and see that this may not work. Kumbe, it can work. Otherwise, I want to thank everybody, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Matara.
Okay, thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. I just want to start by appreciating the department for making it before the committee, and to also appreciate the Office of the Audit. I just want to advise the department that the moment you assume the office, kindly you have to take the responsibility, and we don't have to have that blame game. And as you started, there was a lot of I was given, I didn't hear about. Kindly, if you know that you did forward the report as they were saying, next time you appear with the committee, kindly carry your copy so that you can confirm that. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Were. If you have something to say, Honorable Akwach.
Thank you, Chair. Chairman is just to encourage our friends from the executive that I know maybe they were not in the office then when the spending was done, but the office exists in perpetuity. So whoever holds it now will carry whatever is there, the assets plus the liabilities, they are all yours. My friend, Chief. So we have also learned together, and I hope going forward we'll improve on the opinion. Let us just work together. Yeah, ni kasi tu tunawafanyia watu wa Kisumu. So let us just do it well and improve on the opinion. Otherwise, I don't have much to say, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to the members of the County Assembly Audit Office, our Regional Audit Office, our guests, who are also the members from the Executive and the Secretariat. I think what we need to know, which I always remind everybody, that is a collective responsibility. The focal point, the end result is the people down there. It is not the auditors, not the members of the County Assembly, the staff, or the members of the executive. It is a collective responsibility for everybody. We are trying to make things work by always. That's why when the data comes here, we will not shy from telling the truth, because that truth will help so that we improve in future. It is a learning process, especially for the entity which is audited for the first time. We understand the challenges, but we must recognize that we are disappointed with the LECA, Department of LECA. We have also to appreciate the presence of the chief. That is the accounting officer for the department. Coming at times to the assembly makes you understand very many things. Many of our employees don't report the exact issues. But when you come now, you will see what to do and how to streamline matters. I also have to appreciate the fund administrator. At least from the point of view, you are trying to make things work. but we need a better result. Disclaimer, that one, it means there is nothing that the auditors could put their hands on. At least from advice, it means there are some documents, but there's a problem, but the documents are. But here, disclaimer, that is like you are not even audited. It's a bad result. But it is confirmed here truly that the auditing was not done because you did not avail the required documents. Kindly please take your duty seriously, knowing very clearly that you are in charge of the public fund. And the public fund, you know what is expected. Public Management Act, Regulation 15, County Government. It is very clear. It will guide you on how to handle issues. Then you must also go into some other issues. Otherwise, the assembly is here. We are doing our duty. You must also do yours. The auditors are doing theirs. Next time, we expect you are going to improve. We need an improvement. And we are going to retreat on report writing. You can ask the Department of Finance. We are making very tough recommendations on matters. And these things will remain in record even if they are not implemented today. So we must tell you, we must make recommendations, but guided by the law. So you must expect two results, good result or bad result, but we will be guided by the law. It is very clear. Thank you very much. I hope we are done with your report of today, and we expect a better interaction in future. I pray, Almighty God, with your wisdom and goodness, have appointed the officers of leaders and the county assemblies for the welfare of the society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the important performance of important tasks in the county. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and a faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace and prosperity and welfare of our county and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Our